Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to get a chance to meet with all of you. In today's webinar, as Anna mentioned, we are going to introduce, core OC standard and requirements to you, and also the pathway that you can just get that core OC certification. So I just created some introductory slides that I'm going to share with you, and then I would like to spend a good amount of time for any possible questions that you may have in regards to what is the business strategies, how much does it cost, or any other questions that you have. Please feel free to share your questions in the Q&A. And today I just wanted to make sure that we will have enough time to go over all the questions that you may have. Okay, let me just share my screen here and just go through the uh, slides. So from start to success, your core OC certification. One of the very beginning question is, what is core and what is OC? Are we talking about the same concept and same things or not? First of all, I would say whatever that we call as core basically means certificate of recognition. This is basically a program, a voluntarily program that has been introduced by WorkSafe BC. This program has been implemented and at the first has been assigned and dedicated to construction due to severe type of the risk and hazards that we naturally have, in construction projects. WorkSafe PC decided to start a preventive program, to just to make the working environment safer and healthier for all employees, and they just introduced that program to construction. Then in 2008, core program standard and guideline was published. They said that, okay, that's a good standard and good practice, and based on the effectiveness, that they just made sure and got, after getting lots of positive feedback from the construction projects, they decided to make it generic to all industries. And eventually, in 2008, they just created that standard and guideline and said that now, after that successful experience, this program is applicable everywhere. And even in 2019, after receiving a really positive impact and demonstrated the feedback in all the industries, they decided just to provide some incentives and more support and motivation to all employees, to get that certificate. So, and one of the biggest factor from WorkSafe PC perspective is the positive impact of this program to the injury rate. And based on the statistics, I will show you, we see a very positive, result in terms of injury rates and claim if you just compare the certified companies with non-certified companies and employers in British Columbia. So, and in order to establish that type of efforts, the certification in British Columbia, they assigned 8 different institutions that the WorkSafe PC generally call them certifying partners. Those certifying partners are dedicated to specific industries. For instance, if you are involved in agricultural business, AgSafe is your certifying partner. If you are in construction, BCCSA. And eventually, if you are manufacturing something or producing something in British Columbia, Manufacturing Safety Alliance of British Columbia is your dedicated certifying partner. So what is the mission and intention of certifying partner is, number one is we are committed to support and provide advisory services to all employers in British Columbia to help them be completely in compliance with the requirements of the core OC. This is number one. And number two is, if you are interested, after making sure that you already address those requirements, if you are interested, we can also provide the certificate to you. As I said, being in compliance with regulations in British Columbia is mandatory. regardless whether you want to get certified or not, this is the employer's liability to make sure that they already understood all the regulations and they address them in their shop. But if you want, you can also invite us to help you, to get a core OC certification as well. So, and as I said, having this certificate is generally a voluntary decision. And due to the feature of this decision, which is voluntary, WorkSafe PC also wanted to provide some motivations and incentives for all employers to actually go through that pathway as well. First of all, let me just answer the simple question like this. What is CORE? What is OC? Are we talking about the same things or not? As we already discussed, CORE itself is Certificate of Recognition. Certificate of Recognition is a series of high-level requirements that have been published by WorkSafe PC. The type of requirements are mostly the policies and general guidelines that are applicable to everywhere. Then, any of those 8 certifying partners that we already talked about, they just customize, that standard and guideline in that specific industries. For the manufacturing industry, what we did in Safety Alliance is we just customized it and enhanced the requirement of CORE just for manufacturing business. And we just rebranded that CORE as Occupational Safety Standard of Excellence. So technically, OSSE and CORE are the same things. On the other hand, OSSE is the manufacturing version of CORE. So if you are an OC or OSSE certified company, technically you can say that you are a CORE certified companies. And from WorkSafe PC, they are exactly the same things. And all the benefits that we are talking about now would be applicable to you if you just get your OSSE certificate. In general, OSSE and CORE are the same concept, but we usually say that OSSE is number one, manufacturing version of CORE. Number two is it includes enhanced requirements. You may already hear from us that we say that OC is CORE and more because we added more requirements and enhanced the requirements and just to be more compatible and effective in manufacturing industries. So one of the key questions is, as a business owner or as a safety team that you already participated in this webinar, the key question is, what is in it for you? And on the other hand, what is the return of investment? That's why I just wanted to spend a few minutes to talk about the main benefits that we can expect by getting this type of certificate. One of the basic and the most important benefit that we should always consider is if you just compare a traditional company with a certified company. By certified company, I mean a company who already implemented all the regulations and safety programs and just got certified. The statistics shows that all the certified companies in the last 5 years experiencing 20% less injuries compared with non-certified companies. That's a huge decision factor for WorkSafe BC to fund this program, to always get involved and ask us, to extend the culture of the certification in British Columbia, because that number is very important. Unfortunately, as you may hear, even last year we experienced lots of fatalities in BC, although with compared with other countries, maybe is much less. But even if you lose just one life, it still matters. Okay, but unfortunately, in the last year we experienced lots of serious injuries and also fatalities in British Columbia. That's why it's always a priority to apply a type of proactive, vision, in our companies to make sure that our work environment is pretty safe. So, unfortunately, the statistics already proven that, and all these certified companies experiencing 20% less injury. That is the biggest benefit that you can expect by having core OC certification. It kind of makes sense as well, because if you already have a course OC certificate, it means that whether you or someone external would come to your place once a year and just have a quick look at all the programs that you have, and by this way, you always, try to be organized and wrap up all the open actions and so. Because we are all on the same page. I was in the manufacturing industries as well, and I know that whenever we are targeting an audit and a due date, we are all the team doing their best to wrap up all the open items and make sure that we are ready. So due to all those motivation or impacts that we see in the companies, we can expect a more organized company and eventually a safer, work environment, for all the employees. But besides that, you can imagine some financial benefits as well. Number one is all of you who are here are already paying a premium to WorkSafe PC. Uh, there are two factors that WorkSafe PC consider if they want to calculate the premium, your annual premium rate that you pay to WorkSafe PC. If you talk with your HR team or your accounting, you can get an idea about this amount that you're already paying. Two factors are important. Number one is, as you may know, that premium that you pay to WorkSafe PC would be based on your payroll. So this is a proportion of the payroll. Another important factor is the base rate. WorkSafe PC assigned a base rate to your company based on the history of your injury rates and the history of the relationship with WorkSafe PC in terms of number of work orders that they may issue for you or number of claims that they receive from your company. They may consider you low risk, medium risk, normal, or high risk employer. And based on that, you will have a base rate. So they just multiply your payroll to base rate, and that is the biggest factor to calculate, your actually premium. The point is, if you get your certification, 10% of that rebate, that premium would be rebated back to you. Okay. For instance, if you are paying $40,000 annually, you can expect that 4,000 of that 40,000 would be rebated back to you. And the key thing is not just a one-time payment. It would be lifetime payment. As far as you have your valid certificate, you are eligible to get that rebate. So this is something that you can expect out of the certification. So far, if you compare which one is really important, yeah, that few $1,000 is better than nothing, but the biggest contributor factor to me is the lowest injury rate that you can expect. So another benefit that you can expect is if by any chance you already insured your infrastructure against earthquake, fire, and so, we can introduce a general broker in British Columbia to you, and they can just match your premium and give you 15% discount, compared with the non-certified company. So if you get your certification, you can also claim and save some money out of the insurance, premium that you pay to the insurance company. So for sure, if you are working with contractors, suppliers, during that requirements, we are helping you to create and establish a good supplier, subcontractors, monitoring program. And also another important thing is when any accident happens to your company, although WorkSafe PC eventually is responsible to compensate all the costs to the employers, to the employees and workers who got injured. But one of the key thing is WorkSafe BC would like to make sure whether all the supervisors like you or managers did their portion of duties or not. Okay, if there is any negligence regarding your portion of duties, you would be in charge. So having a valid certificate is not saving you 100%, but it is one of the huge evidence to prove that you already did your portion of duties as the management in the company. Okay, because you can easily explain that we already provided the program, here are the mechanisms, all the systems. So if for instance, if you already injured one of your workers due to falling from height, and if you already demonstrate that we already have a fall protection program. Here are all the resources, all the harnesses, and everything that we already provided. Then if workers haven't followed, your program is another story. We just compare these two situations. In the situation that you already don't have complete and mature fall protection, compared with another company who already has a protection, and if both companies already experienced an injury or fatality, so for sure the company who has a valid certificate can easily defend themselves. Okay. So, and eventually, due to the limited lost time, and so you can expect a more reliable performance for sure as well. So again, if we just look at the whole package here, I still believe that the lower injury rate is the key factors, although the other, benefits is still noticeable, like everything that we already discussed, even financial benefits, or even something like, protecting the management team and supervisors regarding negligence claim. So now that, let's say, okay, I'm kind of convinced that, okay, having a certificate is not a bad idea. But the point is, what is the process to get certified? And how much does it cost? How much efforts I have to put in? And whether it's really worth it or not. So in regards to certification, one of the most important thing that you need to know is from the WorkSafe PC perspective, they just categorize all the businesses into large business and small business. In manufacturing, we also categorize them to micro. So if you are already employed more than 20 employees, we call you large employers. If you have between 10 to 19, you are small, and if you have less than 9, you are micro. Why is important? Because our checklist and our process is a little bit tailored and different for based on the type of the companies that we are dealing with. Okay. So, for instance, if you are already categorized as micro or small, we already have a dedicated checklist that you can use to see whether you're already eligible to get the core certification or not. And one of the biggest factor is if you are micro or small, everything is based on self-declaration. And I'm always wondering why employers in British Columbia are not taking advantage of this opportunity. Because everything is based on self-declaration. It's like your tax return time. You just, provide everything that you think is fair and clear to CRA. Then if they are suspicious of something, they may audit you. But in the normal case, everything is based on self-declaration. Okay. So, and we have the same case here. What we do is we just give you a checklist. Basically, it is an Excel sheet with series of questions, and each question has a score value that I will show you. Eventually, all the questions have been categorized in 10 different sections, from section A to section J, as you can see in the picture. Section A has questions about management, owner, and commitment. Then we have hazard identification. Then we have section C, industry specific programs, inspection, incident investigation, training, and eventually it would be ended up with action plan. So what is the pass mark? For sure, we are not looking for a 100% situation to say that you are eligible to get your core OSSE certification. You have two criteria to consider yourself a certified company. Number one is for each and every section, at least you need to achieve 50%. It's pretty realistic. You are not looking for a mature, 100% mature company. In section A, we have a few questions. Even if 50, half of the questions you don't give yourself a full score, is still okay. Or even if you give yourself a 0 score, is still okay, as far as section A eventually end up with 50%. And like I'm saying for other sections as well, for each and every sections, you need to at least achieve 50%. But your total score that the system would calculate for you should be more than 80. I mean, maybe for some questions you get 50, another question 60, another question 90, but eventually in average that the system would calculate, actually it is the weighted average because some sections are more important than others and the system would calculate it for you. And if you achieve 80% in total, you are eligible for the certification. So please consider these two criteria as the main basis for micro small. So this is a simple example of the type of questions that you can just answer yourself. And as I said, it is all based on self-declaration. For instance, I'm just showing you one question in section A, which is the policy. It says, does the organization have a health and safety policy? So in regards to the health and safety policy, there are two types of questions. Number one is document review question. Basically, it means that you should have something documented. You should have a documented and written safety policy. If you do have a safety policy statement, if you just look at question A111, for instance, if you already have a documented safety policy, you can give yourself 5 score. Otherwise, your score is 0. It's as easy as this. You can just decide whether your score is 0 or 5. Then you can go to the other questions and see whether regarding that particular question you can give yourself the score or not. Then for macro small, we have another type of questions that we call observation/survey. It means that you need to go out to the shop or you need to talk with people to answer this type of questions. So for instance, if you look at question A118, it says posted policy or policy made available to staff. So you can just easily go out and just have a quick look at your shop and see whether you have anywhere that you already posted that policy stated or not. Maybe in the lunchroom, cafeteria, or meeting room, or maybe your SharePoint, your intranet, and so if that's the case, you can give yourself 2 score. Otherwise, your score would be 0. Okay. So by this way, you can go through each and every questions and just calculate your score. If your score is more than 50 in section A, and if your total score is 80, you are eligible. Congratulations, you are eligible to get your COR OSSE certification. Okay. So with that being said, here is the general process that you can consider. First of all, if you are interested so far, if you are macro small, and if you are interested so far, please feel free to send us the quick request. What we do is our admin person, Jocelyn, you will be seeing her, at the end of the session, would set up a workshop for you. It would be a complimentary free workshop. Okay. What we do in this workshop, we just go over all the sections of that checklist with you and make sure that you have a clear understanding of intention of each section and what the section is asking for. Then we will let you just go through the score estimate. Even if you want, we can just have someone from our team to work with you to go through that score estimate. So we can just going through the all and every section, or at least explain what is the intention of the question to you if you need more help, and help you and support you to estimate your score. So let's say you already haven't achieved the score. For instance, to say that, okay, in section A, easy, I already got the 50%, but in section B, I just received 5%, not even 50. So over there, we can introduce someone from our service department to you. We have a team of qualified safety advisors. We can introduce someone to you to help you or give you the templates. If you need the templates of the program or something, we will help you to get that template and just, improve your score. Or maybe you say that, okay, we already achieved the less score, but I know what I need to do. If you are already knowledgeable and have enough knowledge, feel free to go through it. Otherwise, we are here to support you. Please just take advantage of having us. Why? Because a portion of the premium that you're already paying to WorkSafe PC will be funded to us. please take advantage of that. Please just use us, to help you to get certified and also start getting all the benefits. And eventually, at the last stage, you need to become a certified auditor because eventually, someone from your company, if you are a small business, a small or micro, someone from your company, maybe one of you or even you on behalf of your employer, should formally sign the form and just acknowledge that score is formal and validated by you. And based on your acknowledgement, we just archive everything there, and then WorkSafe PC would issue your certificate. Okay. So in order to become a certified auditor, you just need to participate in our internal audit course. The cost of the course is 349, and then you will be certified. Even that cost would be easily compensated with the rebate in the first year, and then you would be certified forever. We will give you a certification number, and actually, again, our admin team would elaborate that for you. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to provide your questions in Q&A, and then we will provide that course for you, and you will be a certified lead auditor. So this is everything that you need to know if you are micro, small employer. So if you are interested to set up and arrange that workshop, that complimentary workshop, please feel free to scan that QR code with your cell phone. Then there is a link about sending your request. You can just fill out a simple form there, just provide your name, your company name, and in the comment, please say, yeah, I just need to have this workshop. That's it. Then we will work with you. We don't have too much time by end of the year for sure, but for sure at the beginning of the next year, we would be more than happy to schedule that 1 hour workshop with you to go over uh, these checklists and help you to estimate your score. That is what I really, really recommend you to start with because it doesn't matter how much is your score. But it is really beneficial if you just have a quick assessment, even by yourself, and just see where you are. Maybe you can score yourself already more than 80, and you can just get certified and just start getting all the benefits. Or maybe you say that, okay, here are the action. I still need another 6 months or even a year, 2 years, whatever, to get my company ready. But it's very important that you start with that workshop and just start your journey. At least you know where you are. One of the benefit of checklist is it can just simply quantify your status. Okay. So then let's talk about the large employers. If you already employed more than 20 people in your company, we have another checklist. All the concept is exactly the same. The checklist has 9 sections. It starts from A to I. Again, the criteria is 50% and your total score should be 80. And again, the type of question that we have is a little bit different. Over there, we have 3 types of questions: document review, observation, and interview. So for large employers, and also for a small, we ask you to have a formal interview. But if you are micro, maybe even an informal talk or survey would be enough. But over there, as you can see here, specifically if you are large, you have dedicated questions that you need to ask your workers, supervisors, and managers during a formal interview. Then the system would calculate your score. Again, the process is kind of similar. You can just ask us. It would be still free, even if you are large. We are more than happy to set up a 1 hour workshop specifically for your own company. It would be one by one because we would like to understand the context of our company first. Then we will help you to interpret each and every questions based on the context of your company. Again, we are more than happy to help you to estimate your score. For large companies, in some cases, specifically if you have a complicated technologies and you don't know whether all the regulations have been already identified or not, we can introduce you to our service department to do a full gap analysis as well. What is the difference between gap analysis and readiness review? In the gap analysis, we just make sure all the regulations have been identified. Okay. But in the readiness review or the score estimate, we just quickly go over the checklist and estimate your score. Okay, so please keep in mind, having the core OC certification doesn't mean that you already identified all the regulations. Eventually, it is your liability to understand, based on the technology that you have, what type of regulations from Workspace PC website is applicable. You just need to address them first, then you can go through that score estimate and make sure how much is your score. So if you need any help, we would be more than happy to help you in this regard. And again, if you need any advisory services, it would be completely free for our members. If you would like to be our direct member, there would be a small amount of fees, annual fees that we get from large employers. And by being our corporate member, we can provide a variety of services complimentary. Otherwise, if you decide not to be our member, I'm still happy to have that workshop for you, complimentary, readiness review complimentary. But if you need specific advisory services, we may quote you for that type of services if you are not our member. So again, if you are interested to be our member, please feel free to go to the QR link, QR code that I'm going to show you, this one, or you can simply send us an email, OSSE@SafetyAllianceBC. We would be more than happy to discuss all the cost of memberships and anything else that you needed to know. There is another important difference here as well. If you are large, it's not based on self-declaration in the first year. For the first year, you need to invite an external auditor to your place to conduct the audit. Please keep in mind, this is the main difference between small, and large employers. For the large employers, the certification audit must be done by an external auditor that we can just get the code from. We have a pool of approved external auditors that we can introduce you, and we will send you the codes, and then you will decide who is the best auditor that you would like to work with. Okay, so that's all you needed to know at the moment. As I said, my intention is to give you enough time and have enough time in this session to go over all the possible questions that you may have, and we can just go over it. Please feel free to ask any questions that you may have regarding everything that I already shared. Specifically, if you are interested to have that complimentary workshop, please feel free to scan this QR code with your cell phone, and then you can just fill out a simple form there, and we will be more than happy to contact you and arrange that workshop with you. So, at the moment, I just wanted to invite Jocelyn and Peter to the stage. Actually, Jocelyn is our admin person. Jocelyn is the hero regarding any type of admin support that you may have regarding your core OC certification. And Peter is one of the key team members here. He's in charge when you send us your actually audit documents. Peter and the QA team are in charge to go over all your documents and make sure from the QA perspectives there is no deficiencies. If there is any deficiencies or any areas that we need more clarification, usually Peter would be in charge with would be in touch with you, and he would let you know regarding that particular question. You just need to elaborate your evidence like this or like that. And after QA approval, actually WorkSafe VC would initiate your certificate. So that's why I just wanted to make sure that we have that I just introduced the right team to you in case you have any questions. So far, I just received a few questions that I just wanted to discuss. One of the questions, perhaps Peter, you could be the best person who can answer this question. The question is, let's say I already decided to establish that system and just get my company certified. Okay, what are the first step in developing a good, safety management system? Because right now I have something in my company, but I'm not quite sure what programs, I already need to, start with first. Okay, what is your idea, Peter?
Thanks, Hassan. That's a great question. The main thing to look at is the hazard identification process because that's the cornerstone of your health and safety
Hmm.
management system. If you
Yeah.
do a good job identifying what your hazards are, then
Hmm.
you can set up appropriate controls that put to control those risks so that you minimize the chance of injury or damage to property and things like that. So that is the key. And if you look at the audit tool, it's actually a weighted average. The hazard identification has a higher ranking in the audit tool than the other sections there because of the importance of it. So I think that's the key thing. And also working on worker participation. If you're a larger firm, making sure that you have a functioning joint health and safety committee, and in a smaller firm, maybe a health and safety representative, and make sure that there's participation because that's something that shows up in all the audit tools from the micro right to the large.
Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, as you said, I think having a good system to identify all the risk and hazards and also would be a very important and foundation of the system. Because if you already identified all the hazards, and eventually you can decide what type of control and program you really need. And just to let everybody know, one of the requirements that we have with the checklist is when you want to identify the hazard and risk in your company, you need to also look at the regulations as well and make sure that you already identified any risk and hazards regarding the regulations that we have in BC. So, as you said, Peter, I agree with you. Having a comprehensive and mature list of risk and hazards and have a good system to evaluate them would be a very important and basic step that they have to actually complete. And after that, the next of the path would be pretty clear, I guess, right? Based on the risk, you can decide what type of program you really need to establish. Yeah, thank you very much. I already received another question. Justin, maybe you are the best person to elaborate this one. It says, what types of services from audit department we can expect to get to receive our certificate. Yeah, I already, just shared the key support that we have. The key support is the complimentary workshop. And also, we are helping you to estimate your score. But can we just add anything else on that, Jocelyn, regarding the support that we provide?
Well, thank you, Hassan. Great point. So Hassan did mention a lot of the points there. So really, I guess the sequence starts with your inquiry, okay, that you're interested in getting certified. Then we do an initial meeting followed by a workshop. Then we also have the COR registration that is very important. It shows your seriousness to work with us, but also is required to put your information when you get certified at WorkSafe BC. We also have the score estimate that Hassan mentioned. And maybe before I go to the rest of the points here, maybe Peter could just step in for 1 second, just talk about the score estimate, just a minute.
Sure. The score estimate is based directly on the audit tool, and the audit tool is easily downloadable from our
Mhm.
MSABC website, so that it's something that's very open to look at and download and play with. And I think it's a very straightforward tool to use. What we can do is that we can set up a shared folder, and then the audit information, the documentation, and records and things can be sent in, and then I'll review that, or somebody on our team will review that and come up with an estimated score so that if you're a small employer, you know where you're standing. If you're a large employer, you also know where you're standing, and you can also sort of understand whether we're ready to look at close to an external auditor process and putting the funding into that, or whether more work needs to be done in certain areas. And that's another area where once the score estimate is done, you may want to look at our services team and other services available from MSABC to strengthen areas. For example, it might be training. We've got a great training department as well. So there are a lot of things that will come from the score estimate there that you can look at and decide what to do next.
Very
Well,
good.
thank you. Thank you, Peter. I know we have some other questions coming up right now, but just to finish from the score estimate, Basically, we can introduce you to the services department for advisory services if you need them, as per mentioned by Hassan. And after that, we do go to, when you're ready, we go for certification. We definitely support you through the certification process. With the audit scope, we're going to go out to get you some quotes from external auditors. And then after that, then is the post certification. You know, we have a celebration of your certification. We have the Pinnacle Awards. As soon as you certify, you will be a recipient of a Topaz Award. And then we have a whole bunch of other awards every year available, depending on factors from WorkSafe BC, like injury rate, experience rating. We have the Hall of Fame, which is a great thing that you'll be on our website. Then we have the webinars updating all the time, internal auditor training, and action plan. So this is a whole bunch of basically steps that you go through for every OSSE employer. So now I'm going to go for a quick question here. What advice do you have when you have workers who don't buy into COR and give pushback on a lot of subjects? Hassan, can you help that?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a very important question. First of all, please keep in mind dealing with a good system is mostly a cultural issue. Okay, actually, we are talking about enhancing the safety culture in the workplace, and it's not the one night event. We cannot just shoot a pile of the through the a pile of the programs and forums and just expecting people to buy it. So first of all is no rush. Please make sure that for each and every program, due to several meetings that you already plan and arrange, like toolbox talks, at the first layer, we can just talk with supervisors about why we need this particular program. Keep in mind, we are not talking about the whole core OC. Please just break it down to a small piece based on the risk analysis that we said. So, for instance, you did the risk analysis and you eventually ended up that, okay, one of the risks that we have is we have, lots of huge tanks that people may get in to clean the tanks. So we have confined space. So we just need to talk with supervisors and say that why is important to have a systemic way to label confined space and devise a permit system for that. So you can just talk with supervisors. Then the supervisors is in charge just to communicate with their team. So I mean, by clarifying the real advantage of a good system, please just make sure we just need to feed our employees. It's not like just giving them a ton of information all at one time and expecting them to completely buy it. Okay, it takes time. Maybe in some companies it may take more than a year, or 1 or 2 or 3 years. It's okay. What is important is the fact that you need to start the journey. It doesn't matter when you actually receive that destination. Yeah, for sure, sooner is better, but no rush, please. It really depends on the current, technology that you have, the competency level of the workers that you are dealing with. In many companies, as you said, maybe people are super loaded, they don't have time to think about anything extra. So in this type of environment, you need to spend more time to really, really justify why we need it. The good thing is, please always keep in mind, you are starting a journey which is fully voluntarily. It's like have a holiday. It's really the big difference between going to a trip for business and holiday is something that you decide and you choose, to go through. So you just need to enjoy it. So that is my general perspective of that.
Well,
Thanks.
thank you, Hassan. We have another question. Is there a good way to address the language barrier in training if we have a diverse group? Is this
Yeah,
something?
that's a very good question. First of all, there is no requirement that we should only use the English language. Okay. Even right now in our training department, I know that we have a dedicated team who are translating, the most frequent, courses in several languages. We just need to get the feedback from you, what language you are more comfortable, and we can just provide the training material in that particular language to you. This is number one. Number two is if you would like to create the critical documents, like in critical programs or even something like OHS policies, please feel free to translate that to other languages that are, that are dominant in your organization. It's always good. There is nothing wrong with having a different language as well. So, I mean, we should accept that one of our biggest advantage in Canada is multicultural environment, and we just need to adopt it. And the good thing that I can share is there is no pushing from WorkSafe BC and from us to push you just to use French or English language. Yeah, these are the formal languages in Canada, but in terms of health and safety, please go whatever works for you. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Hassan. One of the member on this webinar, so basically, never heard before there's a 15% rebate on property insurance. Could you elaborate on this?
Yes, actually, this is, yeah, and that is a true point because this is a type of recent, advantages that we added into the pool of our advantages baskets. And so, the point is, this is only applicable if you already insured your current company, or you are planning to insure your infrastructure. It's not about the health insurance. It's about the infrastructure of your workplaces against fire, earthquake, flooding, or anything else that you think that you need to insure your infrastructure for. What we do is we can just send you a brochure with the general broker that we have in BC. It doesn't matter which areas of BC you are, everywhere in BC would be covered. Then you can just contact them and they will give you a price and they can match that premium with 15% discount for you for sure. That is how it works. So if you are interested, please just send us a quick email or just go through the QR code that I gave you, OSSE at safetyalliancebc.ca. Please just send us that email and we would be more than happy to provide you all information and more details if you need.
Well, thank you, Hassan. Another question, are all the services and resources that you mentioned through your presentation today exclusively for BC employers? Will you help employers in other jurisdiction?
No, all the services is just dedicated to BC. The reason is we already funded by all the BC employers. Okay, that's why we just provided these services to BC. But if you have in your employers, if you have multiple sites, like one site in BC, while your corporate or main sites are located in other provinces, we can still support that particular site that is located in BC. I mean, even if it's not your main site, as far as you have some sort of activities in BC, we can support it. But eventually you need to have a connection with British Columbia. These services are all dedicated to BC. Well, I'm pretty sure if you just contact, your certifying partners or the regulatory bodies in the other provinces, you can find out other companies like Manufacturing Safety Alliance in that particular province that you can expect the same type of services from them as well. But that is the way that we organize. I'm not sure what is their details in the other provinces. Yeah.
Thank you, Hassan. I think this is our last question. When certified as an internal auditor, what is required to become an external auditor? That's a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we always look for talented and interested and experienced people to be our external auditors. Okay. So, being an external auditor is a different story. If you want to be an internal auditor, the process is pretty simple. All you need to do is you just need to participate into our internal audit course. Then you need to conduct your first audit that we call a student audit. Then you would be our a certified internal auditor who is eligible just to conduct the audit for your own employer. Okay. But if you want to be an external auditor, it means that you would be qualified to go out anywhere in BC and just conduct the audit for the large employers. First of all, again, if you are interested, please feel free to send us your request. We will share all the prerequisite conditions. You need to have a designation, safety-related designation with the list of the designation that we accept. One of the most popular designation is CRSP. We are expecting you to be a CRSP in order to be an external auditor. But if you are not a CRSP at the moment, we have a couple of other options that you can read through. And then if you have the experience, if you believe that you still have a few years of experience in health and safety management system, Then we will invite you to a vetting meeting, which is basically a review of your qualification that I usually do. And then we will select you to participate in our external audit course. That's why there is no direct link for enrollment in our website, because we just need to find out whether this position and this course really fits for you or not. And if we both of us are on the same page about your prerequisite qualification, we will invite you to that full week external audit course. It's a full week course that we already planned one course, just one course in 2026 in March timeframe. Please feel free to get in touch with Jocelyn. She can just provide all the schedule and everything to you. So that is the general things, and the rest of the process is kind of the same. You need to participate in that external audit course and just pass the exam. Then you need to conduct your first audit that we call student audit. If you have any employers, you can go for it. Otherwise, we will help you to introduce some employers to you just to do your student audit. And after that, if the QA process is completed and everything is fine, we will certify you as an external auditor. And going forward, for any type of external audit, we will ask you for your quote as well, and the employer would work with you directly. That is a general way that it works. But again, if you want more information and details, please keep in touch with us. We would be more than happy to elaborate it more. Okay.
Sam, we do have another question, quick one here. After certification for a large employer, is annual recertification required?
It's not annual recertification. Actually, when you receive your certification from WorkSafe BC, it's valid for 3 years. Okay. Basically, it means that any certificate that you have is valid for 3 years. But after that 3 years, you need to recertify your system. Okay. So if you are a small or large, it doesn't have too much difference for you because it's all based on, self declaration again. But if you are large, for the recertification stage, after 3 years, you need to invite the external auditor again. This is number one. Number two is every year, whether you are large, small, or micro, you need to conduct the internal audit. That is what we call maintenance audit. That could be done by your own employees, okay, with one of the internal auditors. Bottom line is, yeah, every year you need to conduct the audit, but if you are large, for maintenance audits, you need to conduct two maintenance audits every year. It could be done by yourself. It doesn't cost you anything. But at the recertification stage, after 3 years, you need to invite the external person again if you are large. Okay.
Thank you,
So,
Hassan. I think that's it.
okay, thank you very much. So you may have other questions in your mind that you forgot to share, or if you didn't have any time, I apologize for that. But the point is, we are always here to answer any questions that you may have, and we would be more than happy to go through them with you. So right now, as we are approaching the end of the session, I just wanted to thank you again for your time here, and I also wanted to share a couple of things with you. Number one is our first webinar of 2026 is coming up on January 14th. Generally, we are planning to have regular webinars and several times. But the first webinar is coming up on January 14th with Doris Bentley of Centerpoint Learning Center. Join us to rethink how to keep your workers and teams up to date with new skills, ideas, and technology. Nominations for 2026 Safety Excellence Award are now open as well. Celebrate a leader, team member, your safety committee, or company with a nomination. Learn more about the award, including two new awards in 2026 at the link in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us for our webinar this year, and from our team to yours, a safe and happy holiday season. We look forward to working with you in 2026. Watch for an email with a link to the recording of today's webinar, and please share your feedback and topic ideas in the survey as you leave. We're always looking for any ideas or feedback or anything that you would like to hear or see more in the webinars like this. We would be more than happy to consider all the feedbacks that you provide us. Thank you very much for all your time, and I wish you the best holidays. We cannot wait to get in touch with you and work with you to get you certified as a COR OSSE certified employers. Thank you very much and have a great day.